welcome back. Let's continue with our programs. So in the previous video, we managed to establish a connection between these two programs. Or we didn't really manage to establish, but we created a part of code that will establish the connection once we run these programs. Now let us go to our server program first, and let's figure out this target communication function. Remember, this function will send the commands to the target system that we want to execute, and it will also receive the response of the target system. So let us code it up here, and we're just going to start it, and then we're going to go to the backdoor program. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to initiate the function. So define and then target underscore communication. As we can see, it takes no parameters, and what we're going to do straight away inside of this function is we're going to enter an infinite while true loop. What we will essentially do here is we're going to ask for a command from the user of this program, and then we're going to send that command to the payload and go back to the beginning of this while true loop once we receive the response. Let me show you what I mean. Inside of here, the first thing that we want to do is we want to initiate a command. Since we don't know what command we want to execute, we're just going to use an input statement that will allow the user of this program to type in the command. And we're going to write it like this. Let's make it pretty. Let's make it look like a terminal. And use this sign, %s, and you're going to see why we're using this %s in just a second. So after the %s, type 2 dots and then empty space and add a single quote at the end. And here you can add another % and string of IP address. And if you don't know Python, you're probably wondering what even happened here. Well, this is a statement that will print out. And once we type this %s, it will get exchanged with this string of IP address. And remember, our IP is simply the IP address of the target system that we initiated in this line right here. So what this will print is it will print the shell, and then after it the IP address of the target machine, and then 2 dots, and here we will be able to type in our command. We just made it look a little bit prettier once we run the program. So the next thing that we want to do is then send that command. And we're going to use a function that I'm going to call reliable send, and this function also doesn't exist. It will take one parameter, which will be the command itself. So we're sending the command to the target. Now this reliable send function is something that we will code in the next lecture. For now, just picture it as the function that will send this command to the target system. Then right here, after we send the command, we want to check out what this command was. For example, let's type if command equals to quit. Then this will initiate to our program that we want to exit out of the shell, and we want to exit this program. So we're just going to break out of this while true loop, and that will end our program. So remember, once you type quit, that means you want to stop communicating with the target system and you want to close this server program. So we're going to break out of the while true loop, and that will exit out of this target communication function, and then it will exit out of the program. If it is not quit, so else, we're going to type right here result equals and then reliable underscore receive. And this function is also something that we will create in the next lecture. For now on, just picture this function right here as a function that will receive the response from the target after the target runs our command. Then we're going to store the response inside of this result variable, and we want to print the result. Simple as that. So let's go through this real quick once again. We're asking for the input of the command, then we're sending that command to the target. We check if the command was quit. If it was, then we exit the program. If it wasn't, then we store the response of the command that we received using this function to this result variable, and then we print out the result. For example, if the command was ls or dir, that command lists out all of the files and folders inside of a directory. We would then store this inside of this result variable, and then we would print out all of the files and folders inside of the target's directory. Simple as that. Now that we did this, let's go to our backdoor program and code something similar. Just inside of this backdoor program, we do that using the shell function. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go below the connection function, and right here I will initiate the shell function. And as our target communication function, the shell function will also start with a while true loop. Then what we're going to do is we're going to create the command variable, and in this program, this command variable will receive the command that our server sent. So in backdoor, we first receive the command. Then, after we receive the command, we check if that command was quit, the same thing that we did in our server, and in the same way, we're going to exit out of the program by breaking out of this while true loop. And the other case, we want to execute the command. But this is something that I'm going to type as a comment for now. So here in the else statement, we want to execute the command. And the reason why I'm not typing it right now is because this execution of command requires another library we're going to touch on as soon as we finish coding these reliable receive functions and reliable send functions. So first we need to code them, and then we're going to go and type the code of the command execution. So for now we just started the base of our shell and target communication function, and we're going to continue coding them in the next lecture. See you there.